everyone, welcome to Yarnwonders. In today's video, we are going to complete the dream catcher that we did last week. This is part 2 of the dream catcher video, and if this is the first video that you are landing, then I would recommend you to watch the part 1 and then come back to this video. In part 1 of this video, we saw how to start off the doily pattern and how to increase the circumference as you proceed with your design. And in this part, we are going to see how to complete it and how to attach it to a ring. Do stay till the end of the video. I hope you find it useful, and now let's get right into the video. So here I am at the end of the row, and this is the last set of chains that I'm making. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you have to slip stitch into the first chain here so that it kind of blends in with the stitch. So now here I'm going to do a row of single crochets for this row. What you have to do is you have to slip stitch into the chain space here. It is, if you can see, this is the chain. Just adjust the camera a little bit. So currently my stitch is over here. I want the stitch to come out of this chain space here. So all you have to do is you have to slip stitch into this, and you can start with a chain 1 and you're good to go. So as we have done 6 stitches, the number of single crochets that you'll be doing, it has to be an odd number and should be more than 6. So I'm going to go for 9 because 7 will be just about right. It will not cover the chains, so I'm just going to go for 9 stitches. So when you make more and more doilies, you will understand these patterns better. I don't have a pattern written down anywhere. I'm just making this particular pattern as I crochet. So when you have a better understanding of how how to convert a circle into a square, or how to increase a circle, how to decrease a circle, when you have a better understanding of that, you'll be able to create your own doily pattern. I have done a 21-day series on how to make your own granny squares. I would recommend you to watch that if you do not have a understanding of how to expand it as a circle. And there is also a video on how to make a flat double crochet circle. It is part of the beanie video. So it's part of the flat double crochet circle is part of the beanie video. You can check that out as well, because only then you will understand how to increase the circle. So basically in a doily pattern, you can just mix and match whatever stitches that you want. For example, here I have done a shell stitch as a petal, and here I have done a puff stitch as one of the row, and here I have done a double crochet with chain spaces in between. So all these stitches, you as maybe like an intermediate crocheter, you'll probably know all these stitches, but to get a better understanding of how to apply it in a doily, I would recommend you to watch all these videos. So now I've completed 9 single crochets, and into this the single crochet that I did at the middle stitch here, I've done a slip stitch. Now again you can directly go for a single stitch into the next chain space. So into each of these chain spaces, you are going to make 9 single crochets. Okay, so I'll meet you back at the end of the row once I've got 9 single crochets done on all the chain spaces. So for the next row here, I've started off with the chain 3, and now I'm going to do a double crochet at the middle stitch of this single crochet. That is the 5th single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the 5th one, I'm making a double crochet. Now again, I have to chain 3, and I'm going into this that is the space between the 2 stitches, and I'm making a double crochet. Again I'm going to do that at the middle stitch. So this is the pattern. So one chain 3, double crochet at the middle stitch, again chain 3 and double crochet in between the two, that is the dip here. Okay. So I'm going to meet you back once I finish this row. Okay. I'm at the end of this row. So here I'll have to slip stitch on top of the chain 3 that we made at the start of the row, right? You can see that this part of the work is slightly curling up, but it's completely fine because as you crochet it's going to flatten out. Okay, so now I'm going to create the shell stitches here. So slip stitch into one of these spaces, okay, and we're going to do shell stitch in in the alternate space. Okay, so here I'm going to do 3 chains. This counts as one post. Now into this chain space here I'm going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochet, all into that one chain space. So as you as you go further down the pattern, you'll have to make bigger stitch clusters like the shell stitch here, or like even if you are going for an incomplete double crochet stitch, you can go for that. So yeah, so now I'm going to do the shell stitch row, and now into the next row I'm making one double crochet. Again into the next one I'm making the shell stitch, that is 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. Okay. So this is going to be the pattern till the end of the row. I'll meet you back once I'm done with this row. So I'm done with this shell stitch row. So from the next row it's going to be a repeat pattern. You can crochet this to any size that you want. That is the shell stitch. We are going to do row after row after of shell stitch until you reach the length that you want. And so whenever you find it, like, see, now this is curling up like this is okay, but when you feel that your work is getting tight, you can just increase the number of double crochets in a shell. For example, I'm just going to show you, instead of 3 double crochets, I'm going to make 4 double crochets into this shell stitch. Okay, so whenever you want to increase, you can just add the number of double crochets into this shell stitch here, that is this one. So here we have 3, the next row it is 4, the next row it's 5, the next row is 6. So you can have do 2 rows of 4s and then 2 rows of 5s, like that. I'm just going to go increase every row. So this is the pattern. This is a repeat pattern. You can use it to make the dream catcher to any size you want. And when you get to the single double crochet here, you are going to do a front post. You're going to do a front post double crochet. Again you go into the chain 2 space here and make another shell stitch, that is 4 double crochets, chain 2 and 4 double crochets, all into that one chain space, right? So this is going to be the pattern till the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you back once I'm done with this whole pattern, and I'll explain it to you the number of stitches that I used and how I went about the pattern. So, but this is the basic pattern, and you can scale it up to any size that you want. Okay, I'll meet you back once I'm done with it and when I'm going to attach it to the wooden ring. So I have done a few rows of shell stitches. Now it is almost, if I stretch this out, it's almost to the circumference of the wooden ring that I have here. So now all I have to do is slip stitch till I reach the end of the middle of the shell, that is the chain 2 space. So as the circle grew bigger, I kind of switched from double crochet to triple crochet and then to double triple crochet, to give a nice spread to the pattern. So you can just um, change this the number of triple crochet stitches or the number of double crochet stitches, and then you can increase the pattern like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to chain one, and I'm going to show you how we're going to attach it to the Dreamcatcher ring. So this is the wooden ring, and here I have the work, and my working end is uh, over the ring. Now I'm just taking this under the ring, and I have done a slip stitch. So from now on it's going to be single crochet stitches. You can do how much ever single crochets that you want. You have to make sure that you reach the length of this space properly, that is, it has to stretch out nicely like this, only then the design will spread out. Okay, so I'm just going to continue making single crochet stitches. Okay, and as I'm making single crochet, I'm just going to move it closer. I don't want to show the wooden rings. Okay. So I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to attach all the edges and then start making the single crochets here, so that I don't miss the number of single crochets needed to stretch this out fully. I'm just taking another piece of yarn, and I'm just going to slip stitch into the chain space here. Okay. So this need not be proper, because we are anyway gonna cut this out, and we are going to hide it inside the single crochet. So this is done. So now I'm going to stitch this again and make a slip stitch. Okay. You can just use any scrap piece of yarn to do this, because it's going to hide inside the work. Now for the next shell. So this way you kind of know how much to stretch, and how many single crochets you need to you can just use a small knot as well. So I'm going to finish this and I'll meet you back once I've completed all the shells and when I start making the single crochet. So I've kind of tied up all the shells in the middle, and now we can start off with the single crochet part. Okay, so now you kind of know where to start attaching. So you just have to do single crochet till you reach this part. Okay, so here we are at the next shell stitch. So at this point you can either cut out this knot that we made, or you can just hide it inside the inside this these stitches. I prefer to cut it out. So you just have to make 2 single crochets because this is a very thin thread, so I just wanted to hold the work properly, so I'm just making 2 single crochets. So this depends on the strength of the thread, so you can choose to make 1, 2 or 3 single crochets. So now that the single crochet is done, just slightly adjust the shell to the center, okay, so that it's nice and even on both the sides. And now we're going to start making the single crochets around the ring and outside the shells. Okay, so this is the way that you have to attach the work to the wooden ring. You can use any ring here, like a metal ring, or you can just you can just bend a thick piece of barbed wire, and then you can make this dream catcher, right? So now I'm going to finish this till I reach the start of the work here, and I'll meet you back once I'm done with this. So I'm done with the dream catcher. As you can see, I've attached it to the wooden ring, and at this point you can fasten off and you can add feathers or any kind of hangings to this dream catcher. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do make a pattern using this particular doily, or if you make a dream catcher using this pattern, do tag me on Instagram at Soumya_Yarnwonders. And if you have any doubts, please leave it in the comment section below, and make sure you watch the part 1 of this video as well, and subscribe to Yarnwonders to learn more about crocheting. Thank you.